Welcome along to Health, Wealth and Football, the new jerryflynn.com website, podcast and YouTube channel. And we're with the man of the moment, Mr. Funny Football Stories himself, Jerry Flynn. How are you, Jerry?
Fantastic, Colin. Great to see you. Hopefully the family's all keeping well and you're working hard in rainy Belfast, are you?
Absolutely. It's actually been sunny Belfast. And I have to say, I have to get used to calling you Jerry because you've been Jared all my life for the last 40 years. Your dad was Jerry, the original Jerry Flynn.
I know, my mum will kill you if she hears you call me Jerry. You need to start calling me Jared in this podcast.
I get murdered. So this is going to be a new weekly podcast, and it's linked to your website and your YouTube channel, as I alluded to there. And this is something we've been working on for quite a while. Obviously, I've been doing a bit of selling for you back home in Dream Spanish Homes, and this was going to be something quite different with the added health and wealth element, because I know you're very keen to give back to local charities and local football, where you had a really good career.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. So obviously we've been working together doing the Dream Spanish Homes and the DHS Invest site through Profile Tree. So I wanted to do a jerryflynn.com website more on, giving stuff back to the community. I'm a great believer in the more you give away, the more you receive. And the Football Stories has just made it come to fruition a lot quicker. And I've been overwhelmed by the success, and the following I'm getting on Twitter has just been phenomenal. So I'm deeply humbled, and the more I say as we can give away, we've grew up together, Colin. So you know the way I work, and I'm delighted to get something going a lot quicker rather than delay it for a few months.
Absolutely. And I have to say what Debbie said. She said, "I don't know how he's getting all this following. He's not even funny."
Oh, flip. I know you're the one you've been copying my jokes for years as well. Walks my list. Unbelievable.
You've lived off my jokes, made a career out of it.
Oh, she used to copy everything I done, all the clothes I wore and your haircuts and everything. You can't do it now.
It's really not copying my haircut now. Lorraine, give me a lockdown haircut.
Oh, I tell you what, she must be gluing it back on again.
She cut away a knife and fork.
No, I was just saying, look, let's see the eggs, his eyebrows, there's actually giraffes and everything living in them at the minute. So
I could borrow some
to get out and get a proper haircut. That wee spike one just makes me laugh. I seen your previous video. Oh, flip me.
The kids are calling that the shark fin.
Oh, brilliant.
So look, you mentioned Profile Tree there. Profile Tree I do a bit of work for them, and they've done your website and videos, and they're currently working on this new site, which will be up hopefully by the end of the week. And it's been brilliant. We'd flown out and done the video originally for Dream Spanish Homes, where, very quickly you went from a newbie to an expert in the space of about 2 days after practically 20 hours a day filming. How have you found it?
Like I told them one of the stories that are to the Best of Belfast podcast I done today. Like I remember 23, 24, where I couldn't even speak in front of primary school kids. I was that nervous and had no confidence. I hate to give you the credit, but it was only when you moved in with me when I was 31, 32, albeit I put on about 3 stone. But the chats we had at night, actually, it made me just a more confident person. And, I played maybe 300 odd games in the Irish League, maybe 4. And you were saying, what do you mean you're not confident? But, I'm just delighted to get something going.
You know me, I always try to help you. I've done it all my life. My back's broke carrying you, swear to God.
Yeah. Here we go again.
As you would say, you couldn't make it up.
No, you couldn't make it up. I'm starting to get a bit abusive for that, but you know what? It's going to be one of my lines now, so I'm going to start a hashtag with "you couldn't make it up."
Brilliant. So I know one of the things you want to do is to give back to local charities, and I know your cousin Kevin has cystic fibrosis. That's a charity close to your heart, and your young cousin Reese McGill has had leukemia, and that's another charity close to your heart. And one of the things that you've been asked to do subsequently from the stories, the football stories, is to do a couple of after-dinner speeches.
When I told Debbie, she says, "I don't know why they're getting you for, you're not even funny." And I put the tweet out the other night, and one of the guys come back and says, "I know, Jerry, it's not you, it's actually the stories that you tell." But no, again, I don't know what's going to come off it. My life is here in Spain, but I do go back to see Felicity and my daughter back home. So, if the opportunity comes along, I'll go ahead and do them. But I said to one particular club, you know what, I'll pay my own flights, give £100 to the Cystic Fibrosis charity, and also £100 to the Children's Cancer Unit in the Royal. And, I'll do it. And it means that people are benefiting off it. and you know, it's no cost to anyone else apart from doing good work for charities.
Absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure the boys will absolutely love the stories. And maybe you tell some of the ones that you can't actually tell on Twitter because there'll be over 18s at it.
Yeah, you know, there's been quite a few players. Like every night before the story goes out, when I say who's coming up next, I'm getting text messages. Go easy. What are you going to say? Yeah, had Stephen Small on last night, and it's the titles that intrigue people because they're thinking, what's he going to say? You know, Tom Cruise's Christmas Tree in a Botanic Inn. Smalley was like, flip me, what's he going to say? But no, they're all a bit of banter. Unfortunately, I can't tell all the good details, but we'll keep that to maybe one of the after dinner speaking.
Brilliant. And I've actually been getting texts left, right, and centre. People saying to me, what about Jerry? What about this? What about that? It's actually unbelievable how many people are engaging. I mean, you've gone from, I think, 300 followers on Twitter to 3,000.
Nearly 4,000. I think I'm about 20 off. So if you get all your family to start following me, I'll probably hit the 4,000 tonight. Get wee Jerry and Sean on board. So maybe hit the 4,000 before tonight. Brilliant.
Classic. So the other thing I wanted to mention was that you'd said you're maybe going to give away 11 kits because there's 11 players in a team. That wouldn't be so good for Timmy because he'd have been sub, so you have to give away an extra one.
Well, I knew you'd have to have a wee dig at Timmy, but he's going to be one of our guests. And the good thing is, obviously, I've told a few stories about players I've played with, so we're going to give them the chance to come back and retaliate. Albeit me and you'll be editing the video, so anything that they're going to say, we can cut it out.
That was only my lead in. So Tim McCann's going to be our first guest in our inaugural session, probably later this week.
Yeah, and you know, we'll come up with different ideas for the podcast. You know, the good thing is we're giving an opportunity to Irish League fans to maybe hear stories that they would never have heard before and get close access, because when you look at like Premiership players, you know, the distance between fans and them is, you know, it's you don't get close, you don't hear these stories. And you know, we're going to give fans also the opportunity to come on board and you know, ask a few questions, and all it is a bit of banter, get people through this hard time through the coronavirus, you know, because there's a lot of issues that can come to fruition out of it. You know, mental health is one thing, a lot of people are bored, and you know, so that's something we're going to touch on, but it's for a bit of banter, it's a bit of crack. And as I say, we'll give some ex-players and some teammates a chance to get some retaliation on me.
Absolutely. I think Mr. McCann will be delighted to get a bit of retaliation. He was texting me last night, him and Dave O'Neill and Big McNally and a few of the boys, and he can't wait to get back at you, he said. Well,
I've one coming up tomorrow about the Anfield Warriors, and you've heard of them before, obviously. So Big Canoe and wee Dermy Murray. So that'll whet their appetites tonight.
I can't wait for that. So one of the other things I was going to ask you, and it's something maybe we can discuss on the podcast, what's been your favourite story?
I actually thought the Marty Quinn one, when you know he punched the German supporter, the Stuttgart supporter, but then you look at the wee Mark Pickling one where he jumps over Packy's back fence. The good thing is when I put them on, there's people coming on. Like wee Picky was messaging me the night before, and he was saying, like, what do you want to say and stuff. And when I told him about that, the message that he sends me, you know, I'm able to retweet it. So they're all true. You know, I do play about with the title, and I do forget some dates and some matches. But Marshall Gillespie, who's on Twitter, who's all the stat guy, he's been fantastic with me. You know, I'm saying, well, what was the scoreline? Because I forget. Maybe if I scored a 20-yarder or if it was a top-in, he comes in and he tells me, oh, yeah, Jerry, no, you didn't score that particular game. So he's been invaluable.
I've seen actually you're so popular that people are actually ripping you off. I've actually got a wee birdie who told me one of them was, but they were brilliant. They were saying, we won 3-0 or 4 each or 2-1 or 6-5. I don't know why you've seen that, have you?
Yeah, I've heard him, but you know what? At the end of the day, he's probably sitting in his back garden drinking pins of stagger. You know, I'm over here selling houses and sitting in the sun. So let him do what he has to do.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. So this is going to be, as the title suggests, so it's health, wealth, and football. So the health part, you know, you've touched on there with mental health and charities. And the wealth part is about investments you've got in Spain and property and other people's stories about wealth as well. And it's not just like capitalism wealth, but how you can actually help people in their everyday lives. Yeah,
well, we're going to bring different guests on. You know, one of our good friends, a joint friend, is Connor Devine. You know, so Connor has agreed to come on, and He has a company, GDP, where he's helping a lot of people who have been in financial difficulty from the previous downturn. So Connor's agreed to come on. We're maybe speaking to maybe Nick Leeson to see if he would maybe give some insight into his story. And let's see where it goes. We'll try and get different guests on every week, obviously based around football, but there's going to be mental health, there's going to be wealth, and let's see how it goes. If people are interested and they support the podcast, then you never know where we end up.
Maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it would be nice if I could get you to do some work for a change.
So one of the things that you actually say on your Twitter bio is your health's your wealth. And I know you follow the secret, which is basically the law of attraction. Tell us a wee bit about that.
It's probably gone back maybe nearly close to 20 years. It was my cousin who lives in Canada. Her husband, Perry Lanson, had said, look, you need to watch this video. And I did. And without exaggerating, I maybe watched it 3,000 times. I fall asleep to, Bob Proctor, The Secret, most nights. And like you were in the same scenario as me when the previous crisis in 2008, you had sold me half the houses that I had. You were the only one who made money then. But, when I look at it then, how I get through that and then what's happening now, a lot of people unfortunately took their lives and stuff. But, while you've got your health, nothing else should matter, and it is a struggle. Debbie has wobbled a few times, but we will get through it. It might take 1 or 2 years, but as I say, your health's your wealth.
Absolutely. And I think out of that last sort of crash, we've got maybe 1 or 2 Arctic blondes, I prefer to call them, and maybe gained a pound or 2. But apart from that, we're still here and still kicking.
Well, that's it. And when you look back then, I think with 100 houses between us and we lost them all, and if knowing now if we had a knew what we know now, you'd have just kept some of the money, and you wouldn't have been trying to pay off banks, and you wouldn't have, because they all get bailed out, where me and you were running skin for maybe 10 years.
What's new? So one of the things I was going to say was about The Secret. You actually told me about The Secret, and I was thinking, oh God, here we go, another hair-brain scream from Mr. Flynn. But actually, when I watched it, I loved it. I sent it on to our Sean, our Geraldine and Jim Kavanagh, and they loved it, and it's sort of gone viral since then.
It is. Well, you know what? It works for me, and you more so than anyone knows what I went through when I first came to Spain and stuff, and I touched on it today on the podcast with Best of Belfast. There was a time for about 3 weeks I never got out of bed, and I put it on, and it's true. If you get up in the morning and you stub your toe, the next thing you walk out, you spill your coffee, then something else happens, you get a text message from someone, and you just go, oh, here's the day. But if you look at it the other way, now, back then there was checks coming in saying we owed Birmingham Mid-Jars 130,000, but we were getting out, and I was going, Debbie, we've got a check for ourselves, what are we going to spend it on? But she thought I'd lost the plot. But when I look back on it now, if I hadn't had the positive outlook on it, and that mental strength, I probably wouldn't have get through that, because when you tot up all the figures, it was like 7 million with property that we lost.
Mm-hmm. And luckily, and I mean this the best way, there was quite a few of us going through it, so we nearly had a wee support network amongst ourselves. Yeah,
well, you used to phone me to cheer yourself up. Your Sean says, give Jerry a ring. Like some of the stories of that, and we'll touch on them in the podcast. I had one girl phone me every Sunday for I don't know how long, looking 27,000, and the time I said, tell her, look, it's underneath the front mat. She says, I don't think you're taking it serious. And I said, well, I wouldn't put it under my front mat. But no, we'll touch on them on the podcast. But it's yeah, you have to go through it. But as I say, we'll get through this one. We get through the last one, so there's no reason why we won't get through this.
Absolutely brilliant. So the first one we're aiming to do this week, and as was suggested, it's going to be our good mate Tim McCann up firstly, and maybe we're going to bring on a fan as well along with him for a bit of crack. So really looking forward to that, and I will chat to you maybe Wednesday during the week.
Can't wait for it. But again, I'm in discussions with Timmy's solicitor, and he's looking a fee for it. As you know, Tim's never done anything for free in his life, so hopefully we can get it sorted out. He's looking 10 grand, but we'll get him down.
I think if you give him a bottle of Bud, they can sing into it at the end of the night, he'd be happy.
Oh, I forgot about that. Sweet Caroline.
Okay, Jerry, thanks very much. I'll chat to you on Wednesday.
You're welcome. See you soon.